Dad said, he was like, already in 2.5 weeks? And I was just like, yeah, it's because I'm locking in. So we started by building on one of our previous exercises, the one I call 3 direction. The difference being that in this session, he added a step and we got rid of the sliders. Even though it's difficult, I really like this exercise because it challenges my knee rotation and it also helps me work on my balance. I can't emphasize how important it is that anyone with an injury goes to a physical therapist. Having that knowledge and expertise is critical and it makes a big difference. I don't think that people with injuries should be trying these exercises on their own. This was pretty difficult and it took me a while to get the hang of it. As you can see, I'm shaking a lot because that balance on the knee plus trying to activate that muscle, I don't know, it feels very, it still feels very unstable. Now this one with the sliders, oh my God. I remember doing an exercise similar to this when I ran track in like high school. Yo, it's the same type of thing. Originally, they actually wanted me to do both legs out, both legs in. And I was like, I don't know if y'all think I got like some monster core or something, but I could not do that. So we settled on alternating legs, which was still so hard. Right now, the most difficult exercise is between this one and the single leg hip thrust. I'm not sure which one wins. All I know is that both of them have almost brought me to tears. I think it's because the BFR just really hurts and is really tight on these floor exercises. Well, I used to dance.
So, okay.
And it's a
Light feet, yeah,
light
good.
landing.
Quiet landing.
So this was really cool because today they told me we were gonna practice jumping, and I was really nervous because I haven't really done any jumping at all. And so instead of doing like a vertical jump, which would have been more impact, they said that we can practice on the leg press. And I was really excited about that because it's making me mentally feel like I'm getting the feeling of it without having to brace for the actual impact of it on my knee. So I didn't feel much pain on my knee, and I actually felt that I had a lot more control, which is exactly what we wanted. So they told me at this point that they had a surprise for me. Now, usually we'd finish at this point, and I was like, "What you got for me? A cupcake?" And they're like, "No, we're gonna do running." And I was like, "Who? Me? You sure?" And I prepped with this funny kind of like ballerina tights thing for the anti-gravity treadmill. I had no idea something like this even existed. It basically reduces your body weight using air pressure, so I was able to practice my jogging but not with my full body weight. And on the screen, it actually shows me like how much percentage of weight I'm distributing between both feet, as well as a video of my feet running. So my therapist is really observant because he noticed that I was whipping my left foot as I was jogging, which I didn't notice at all. I mean, I noticed that my calves got really tight and my foot was just hurting me from like the first 2 minutes of doing a light jog. I think we're at like 3.4 speed. So afterwards, they showed me what I was doing and gave me some exercises to strengthen my calf and another muscle. But this is a great way to introduce jogging to people with knee injuries. I absolutely love this machine and I'm so happy about this surprise. So after we wrapped up, like right before I was about to leave, we realized that I had to do a re-auth for more sessions. So surprise, surprise, evaluations. And spoiler alert, I think I killed it. We tested quad strength first, which I didn't get to video. I think I actually surprised my therapist with how much I improved. And then we also did squatting. And do you see me squatting in this video? I was like, I think that's enough. I think that's enough. I'm going to drop. And he was like, no, you can do it. You can do it. And I did it. And we also tested range of motion, which we'll talk more about later. But after that evaluation, I was on cloud nine. My boyfriend took me to get some tacos and we just ate and just kind of had a little like mini celebratory moment. Achieving milestones when you have an ACL injury or a multi-ligament injury is always really big, and it's always even more sweet when it's unexpected. Okay, so I had such a good session, way better than I even thought it was going to be. So I was not my fifth session, and it's just been 2.5 weeks. And we were due for a new authorization, so we had to do another evaluation. First being my quad strength. So I can now, my left leg can now lift 20 pounds more than I could have when I first was evaluated before I started these sessions. That's crazy. So that was like the first big thing. The second was squats. When I did the eval, I could only squat to 60 degrees without holding on to anything, just like squat free. I could only squat to 60 degrees, and he was like, you need to be at least squatting to 90. So this time I squatted to definitely 90 degrees, as you can see in the video itself. And then he kind of went to spot me and was like, okay, let's see if you can go lower. And I was like, wait. And he was like, no, trust me, I have you, but try to, get lower. And as you can see in the video, I did go a little bit lower. That was extremely unexpected. When we started, he said that the goal was for me to squat all the way down. It was good. My quads were burning. He said that I need to focus more on shifting at when I go down past that 90, shifting some of the weight into my glutes and not so much into my quads. But this is the first time your girl has even been in that region in a year. I have not squatted, I haven't even squatted that low holding on to something. I mean, I was like, I'll take it. I was like, give me it, I'll take it, okay? This is way more than I thought I would have been able to get to in such a short time. Oh, and then we did the range of motion, which I didn't really, I guess we did measure it in my eval. I got to 130 degrees, lying down on the bed. I could pull it in with my hand to 135. And what they're trying to get is what you can do unassisted. I've been so focused on regaining strength in the quads and all that stuff that I haven't really been practicing my knee bends the way that I was in those first 6 months. Oh nice, a flower came in. The knee was a little stiff. It was a little stiff. And he, tried to loosen it up and stuff like that. But ultimately, I think we got 1 degree more. He was like, okay, 131. Anyways, after that, you saw the video in how we put the knee on the bench and try to get the range of motion in that position. And with that body weight, with the help of my body weight, essentially, your girl finally got to 145. Bro, I have not gotten to 145. I would love to know other people's thoughts or experiences with this, range of motion. I have to do a video on this or something so we can have a conversation about this. Range of motion was by far the most challenging thing I've had to do in this entire process. Even if you're not dealing with atrophy and you're not dealing with surgery trauma, people can understand building back muscle generally. People can understand pushing weights and pushing yourself to the max in that respect of muscle. But to describe what that joint pain feels like is just very difficult and just very hard to understand if you haven't been through it. I wouldn't have understood had I not gone through it. Once I got to a certain point with my range of motion around 130, yeah, I think it was around the late 128, 130, it kind of felt like it was taking longer to get degrees. And then my insurance had run up and we were focusing on other things. We're still doing range of motion, but we're also focusing on the quad and strengthening. From what I understood, getting a stronger hamstring and quad would help me to get to that deeper bend. So I kind of just took my mind off of it and was like, okay, well, I know I'm in the functional range, and I just hope that it will come back. But yeah. So that was an unexpected, just made me very happy. Now, yes, it was tight. Yes, when I went into that, I didn't know I could do it. I was like, okay, let's see. It was very tight, and it was especially very tight at like the back of the knee, like almost like my calves are squeezing onto like the back of my knee and my hamstring, and then a little bit of tightness in the front of my knee. There definitely was like kind of like a little like that scar tissue-esque feeling. I just took my time, I went slow, and he measured it. I felt like I was on cloud nine, and I haven't felt like that in a while. The most emotional part of the entire post-op process for me was unlocking range of motion. That's where the most tears came. That's where the most like, just like feeling of relief came. So to have those milestones, like to have like the quad getting stronger, reaching another level of squatting, and then reaching the full range of motion. The way I see it and the way I said it is like, but now my body knows that I have access to that range. And this process of rehab is just as much mental as it is physical. And that's not just what the patients like me say. That's not just what the people who go through it say. That's what the surgeons say. That's what the physical therapists say. That so much of this process is about restoring the connection between your brain and your muscles and your joints, and this whole harmonious system that works without us even thinking of it. This is my little garden, or part of my little garden. It was the first kind of like little project I did while in recovery, once I was able to kind of move around a little bit in my post-op brace. It was extremely therapeutic. Still I'm continuing now. As you can see, we got some tomato growing. I picked one. So yeah, I started painting pots. I'd paint pots out here, like old pots that I had or that people were throwing away, and I would garden. Yeah, that was a great way to start the week. Thank you, God. It's been a journey, and Dad said, he was like, already in 2.5 weeks? And I was just like, yeah, it's because I'm locking in. We've seen results. So let's continue on using this as more motivation, that even when I may not see it literally, there's progress happening, change is happening. The first tomato of the season. Oh my God. Beautiful.